Hello and welcome to my third update, I think, for my Pan That slash those palette slash eyeshadows. So I combine two eyeshadow panning projects in one video. In this update, I feel the need to tell you the progress isn't where I would like it to be. I filmed my last update really late and this update early because of just how my best times to film are on the weekends, and it's just how it works out on the calendar. I was watching like Rebecca Morgan and she swatches her eyeshadows and her Pan Those Eyeshadows preemptively, like before filming. So here are my Pan Those eyeshadows, but before we get into all of these little ones, let's talk about my Pan That palette. My Pan That palette this year is a collection of single eyeshadows that I have actually already hit pan on. So in this case, we are finishing them. Here is what it's looking like right now. Let's see if there's any expansion of the pans. Honestly, there are two shadows I didn't use at all again. This is the second month in a row I didn't use them at all. And that's Shell Yeah and Thank You Next. They're just not what I'm going for. I'm so sorry. I don't know why. Kezi, which is from an old Juvia's Place palette, got 13 uses. And I don't know if you see so much pan expansion, but I can see a lot of like leveling out the pan, and I don't know if I can show you that well in the camera. Seeing it level out a little bit definitely is getting me excited. I used Eclipse a couple of times, but it doesn't have the glitteriness that I'm looking for, so I usually have to top it with a other shadow. I used Fancy That, which is from a Too Faced palette, in conjunction with this gray in my Pan Those eyeshadows. So these got more use. I don't know how many I'll actually finish. It's a struggle out there, but oh well. That's my Pan That palette. We'll see what happens. Now let's talk about our Pan Those eyeshadows. All I've had today was coffee. It's not right. It's not good for me. You like my little cloud situation? I don't know how well it's reading on camera. I don't know if it looks like a mess, but I tried something new and I hope you somewhat like it. I had an art show last night and it was just a nice moment and I felt inspired, and there was like my clouds in the art show and other people's artwork had like cloud elements in their art, and I was like, but I used zero gravity for this look today. What I always do when starting my Pan Those eyeshadow side of the project is I go in order of the shadows I used the least. So let's start with that. And it is in this Orangey Glad palette by ColourPop. All the lettering has worn away clearly. I will cover the shadow that we aren't currently talking about. There are two shadows in this palette from my Pan Those eyeshadows, and that's Zakia and Clementine down here. They're both in my Orangey Glad, and the one I use the least is Clementine. This one right in there. Look at my shower. Yeah, I film on my bathroom floor. That's where the cool girls film, you know? There's Clementine in that corner there. Two uses, you're not gonna see much. I thought since I had three shadows that were orangey in my Pan Those eyeshadows that I would do so many more orangey looks, but I did not. I think I got a little burnt out in January and February with the oranges, and now I settled down a little bit. I did do a couple, but I wanted to play with the other shadows in my project a bit more this past month. It rolled in last update, so it's really just two extra uses on that shadow, nothing groundbreaking. The next one we will talk about is from the ColourPop Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon palette, and it is Twilight Flash up here. You can start seeing a dip. I used it 3 times this past update, but it's been in my project since the beginning of the year, And right now that is 20 uses in total since the beginning of the year. And it's just such a subtle dip after 20 uses. Ugh. This is probably going to be another 20 or so uses before I hit pan, and I'm fine with it. We're good to go. It's just a subtle, peachy, neutrally shadow. The next shadow we will talk about is back to the one in the Orangey Glad. All of my orange shadows are in the bottom: Clementine, Twilight Flash, Zakia. They're the ones I use the least, but this is really exciting, okay? Zakia is the one I hit pan on. Now you can barely see that baby pan. It's so tiny. After 3 uses this past month, I finally hit pan, and that is 13 uses in total, and I hit pan on March 18th. Zakia will roll out. Bye. The next shadow we will talk about is the only shadow from my Pan Those Eyeshadows currently on my eyes, and that is from the Celestial Storm palette by Dominique Cosmetics, and it is Zero Graviter. Right there. You can see a dip for sure. And there was a dip before I used it as a liner today. In past updates, I really relied on using darker shadows as a liner to make progress, and only just now have I used a shadow as a liner. I really love this shadow. It just takes a lot of use to get even that dip going on. I used this 4 times, including today. So I used it 4 times this past month, and 9 times in total thus far. And I've been using Eternal Light a ton. It is also in my look today as the shimmer in the gray cloud. The next shadow, the one I use the second most, is currently now in my new Give Me Glow Giant palette. If you want to see me swatch a bunch of Give Me Glow shadows that are new and old, you can watch this video that I'm putting up in the cards or whatever. Set the Jewel Tone is in here, and I used it 5 times. It's right there. Let me show you. Oh, this big boy. Can't even see my face. Can you... Can you see? Let me take it out, because, oh lord. Okay, so Set the Jewel Tone is a depotted Too Faced shadow from the Pretty Rich palette. Look at all that progress. Used it 5 times this past update with a total of 8 uses since it's been in my project. 2 of those 5 from this past month were nails. You probably clocked my nails. And this isn't just the eyeshadow. I have a blue nail polish that I've been putting down and then using this to top on it. But the other 3 times that I used Set the Jewel Tone were in these very, very blue looks, and I love them. So one reason that I've gotten really into using the blues is because of a new Give Me Glow shadow that I bought. And that is this one up here. It's Glass Slipper, I believe, and I just almost dropped it. Yep, Glass Slipper, and it is gorgeous. My thumb caught it, so let's just show you my thumb. It is a gorgeous light blue shimmer with a purpley periwinkle flip, and oh my god, amazing. Now I have a gorgeous thumb and I need to just wipe it away. Glass Slipper has definitely inspired me to use my Too Faced shadow a little bit more. The Too Faced shadow, in turn, has gotten me to use my It's Freaking Bats palette more. And bonus little dippage going on in Spooky. I got that going. This is a very powdery shadow though, so it's not that impressive, but I've been using Spooky a lot. I am really hoping I hit pan on it next update, especially if I keep using it as nail polish topping. Surprise, surprise, the one that I use the most is the shadow that rolled in last update, and it's from my main Squeeze ColourPop palette. Again, the lettering has worn off. And I used it 6 times, and that's maraschino. And now you can see a lovely, healthy dip. And the reason why I use this the most is definitely because I count when I have to use a significant amount of eyeshadow to touch up my makeup look. This shadow would crease and I would go back in and reapply some more shadow to freshen up my makeup look, and I would count that as a use. I've always been like that. I think if I keep targeting where that dip is, I could hit pan on this next update too. Notice how the only shadows I think I can hit pan on next update are the shimmers. We'll see what happens. I always surprise myself. I'll think I'll go one way, and then as the month goes, I just go another way and I'm inspired by something else and it's fine. Like maybe I'll do more liner looks with zero gravity. Who knows? Those were all my shadows in my pan, those eyeshadows. I hit pan on Zakia, so we have one roll in, which I'm super pumped about. I haven't updated my eyeshadow spreadsheet at all. I don't know my pan percentage at all either, because I just have not had the time to update this spreadsheet. It's low on my list of things I need to get done. I remembered to charge my little Samsung tablet. The minimum will be 1 and the maximum will be 228. Basically, if the shadow that rolls in looks too similar from any of my shadows in my pan that/those palette/eyeshadows, I will not roll it in if it looks too close to any of those shadows. Let's roll it in. 131! Let's look at my little spreadsheet. Let's see. It's an old friend. An old friend enemy. Frenemy. It's an old frenemy. Did you guess the frenemy palette I mentioned? It's from the Morphe, such a gem palette. My first year of doing this project, this is my 3rd year doing it. My first year doing this project, this palette rolled in so much, okay? 2nd year of doing this project, this palette started to roll in a bunch. I kind of was like, I am done after the 3rd shadow from this palette rolled in. I'm just going to exclude this whole palette from the project for the rest of the year because I can't keep working on this palette. You will see a bunch of pans. Actually, Perfection is in my look today. If I reach for this palette, I usually reach for Perfection or this bubblegum shadow. Everything else can go die in a hole. I've been meaning to get more use out of some of the mattes that I've never used in this palette before. And that is definitely one of these. This is Wine Not with a question mark. It is a matte that I've definitely, I think, only swatched before. And it looks like that on the finger. But I am a little bummed that I got another matte shadow in my project. But look at that. Oh. So imagine that with all of those. A very dark matte, so that's good. The other positive is that I can use this matte in with the red maraschino. I can definitely do that. And I've been wanting to do more pink looks again. I love pink eyeshadow. So this can be a deepening up shade for some pink looks. Swatchy mess, but imagine Zakia does not exist in this project anymore, so I'm covering up. And that's my new color story. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Very fun. I love it. I'm into it. Wow, it's crazy how one shadow being rolled out and then a new one rolling in totally changes your color story. Everything now feels dominated by the reds. It's been 3 months of peachy oranges dominating my year, and I've loved it. But now we got some reds coming in. Fun! Maybe as I reach for this palette a bit more because of Why Not, I'll dive into these silvers more, which will accompany Zero Gravity really nicely. I really hope you've enjoyed this update. I hope you've enjoyed me crouching like this in the corner like a goblin. Thank you for sticking around, everyone. I hope you have a great day, mentally and physically, and I hope you rest every now and then, okay? Oh no, do I look ugly in this video? It's been fun. Bye.